Welcome to the Talk Daddy podcast. Today we have on an amazing guest, Jack. Thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack is a serial entrepreneur. He is running a business right now, and I don't want to expose any numbers, but he's doing some serious multi-six-figure volume monthly with his brand. So thanks for taking the time to be here. I'm excited to talk.
John, thank you so much for the warm introduction, man. Definitely appreciate it. Super excited to chop it up today. Super excited to drop some knowledge bombs for all the viewers. And yeah, let's roll with it.
My pleasure to have you. So look, the first question I want to ask you is, every entrepreneur I feel like has that light bulb moment when they realize that they can do their own thing and start making money with their own business. So for me, I had my light bulb moment. It was buying and selling boat trailers when I was 17. I started flipping them. But I'm curious, what was it for you, Jack? Was there a moment in time where you realized, I could start my own business and I can actually do this?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I had a quote unquote moment. I feel like I did a bunch of entrepreneurial things early on, but I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, right? So, mowed lawns early on in high school, sold packs of gum in high school, did a bunch of different things just to make some extra money, right? I've always been fascinated with money. I've always wanted to have a lot of money for whatever reason. But I followed the traditional school system, right? So I graduated from high school, graduated from college, went straight into a corporate job, right? Worked the 9 to 5, hustled, was a financial analyst for a little over a year. But through that time, I spent my extra hours at home when I wasn't working corporate, trying to figure out more ways to elevate my income, right? Early on, you're making a starter salary. It's nothing fancy, right? And when I would get home at 5, 6 o'clock, I had so much free time, right? From 6 o'clock to 10, 11 at night. I was like, what do I do with my time? Right. So I was just searching online ways to make extra money. Searched on YouTube and came across this thing called drop shipping,
Drop
the
shipping.
famous drop shipping, man. And I spent probably the next couple weeks to a month just consuming knowledge.
Mhm.
I've always been interested in just consuming as much knowledge as possible. And I feel like that's the way I learn the best, is just to obtain as much information as possible before going into something, right? So I definitely found a couple guys on YouTube that were pretty successful in the drop shipping world and just tried to copy and paste what they were doing, right? Try to figure out, how can I lever this to my own success, right? So after kind of a month or so, decided to build my first Shopify store.
Was it terrible?
It's absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
All the pictures were straight from AliExpress. First website was definitely awful, but it still worked.
It
Right. The
worked.
crazy thing is that it still worked. So
Wow.
I did some Photoshop in the beginning, right? I was Photoshopping my brand on the leggings, or I guess that's kind of jumping ahead. Um, but I was just scrappy with it. And I think that's the best way to describe it, is I didn't know what I was doing. It was all just figuring out and learning as I go, right? So testing different things, figuring out what's working for me, right? Because a lot of these players in the space were doing paid ads. Me at the time, I didn't want to lose money, right? I wasn't okay with spending a couple $100s a day and not getting any return, right? So I developed this sort of method of utilizing an ambassador program through my first ecom store. So kind of diving into it, the first ecom store I had was dropshipping leggings, right? I initially thought of, what can I sell online, and what are my customers going to be like, right? So I always kind of got this connotation or notion that women preferred to shop online versus men. Like, women were easily like able to spend that money or like swipe their credit card versus a male. So
Definitely.
I was like, all right, I want to do something in the female industry,
Mhm.
right? So after going through that, searching on AliExpress, I was like, all right, well, I enjoy health and fitness. Why not try out leggings? Right. So I put probably like 5 different leggings on the store, didn't think anything of it, but I didn't go directly to paid ads, right? I was not okay with spending endless money and not making any return. And I feel like a lot of people think that's a route you definitely have to go down early on, right? Because you see these big players spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars every day, weekly, thousands of dollars, and getting a good return. And that's kind of the drop shipping story. I started with $30. a
Wow,
Shopify
Shopify.
Shopify website. Got the domain for I think it was like 99 cents then.
Mhm,
I think this was like 2019.
mhm.
$30. Built the store myself, all from free YouTube videos, set up all my payment methods, all the providers, and made my socials and just started selling. So the way I got into it is I started communicating through with people via Instagram, right? So this is kind of going into, I guess, my unique selling method where I
Mhm.
was not okay with spending money on ads. Um, and again, I've always been fascinated with like money. So I was like, the last thing I'm going to do is spend money and not make any money back. So I started, like, I posted some pictures on the Instagram. The brand was called Flaunt Fits back then. So I tried to think of a catchy name and it was like, all right, you got to flaunt your style, flaunt your activewear, flaunt fits. I mean,
It makes
just
sense for the product as well.
rolls off the tongue, man. And it's
Mhm.
something catchy, right? Started posting Instagram pictures, and then just started commenting one by one on women's Instagram that were in the activewear industry or in the fitness industry, I guess,
Mhm.
is the best way to put it. And then after I commented, I would wait for them to interact, right? I would wait for them to like it or follow me or do whatever, some sort of interaction that triggered me to go follow them back and then send them this like ambassador message saying, "Hey, we love your page. You know, you're absolutely beautiful." Whatever this like long paragraph is, we'd love for you to be an ambassador for our brand. Like, here's 20% off, and then I would take every customer and ambassador through the sales cycle to get them to purchase. Um,
So you not only got them to purchase from you, but then you got them to become an ambassador for you and sell their friends.
Yeah, so the the best way to look at, like, I always thought of this as very psychological.
Mhm.
It was all psychology to me, right? Because there was a lot of trial and error things in the beginning, and I just had to figure out what was going to stick, right? So the first thing I tried was a 20% off, right? But no one's really that's not a huge incentive to get people to purchase, especially a brand that has no presence on Instagram, right? It's not known. I mean, I probably bought followers, but anyways, I didn't have like hundreds of thousand followers. I wasn't verified. The pictures I had were stock from AliExpress. I mean, it just wasn't a shiny, well-known name brand, right? So I had to do everything I can to leverage the people skills and the community aspect to get people into the network, right? So you'll see a lot of these big brands just post and like then you go to their tag section and they have so many people that are tagging them, but there's no interaction from the brand side, which just fascinates me. You have thousands and thousands of people that are tagging you in pictures every day, and that's the end of the sales cycle, right? So that really triggered something for me that I was like, I can make women feel special and get them a part of my community by wearing activewear. So it was this whole thing of empowering women, this uplifting community, and people want that. People want an uplifting community where you can network with other females or other moms or people that are like in the same life stage as you, right? And by wearing that activewear and then people holding each other accountable, I think that really was something that I leveraged with my brand that a lot of bigger brands weren't doing. So again, this is kind of like a long-winded answer on like how I got started.
Yeah.
But that kind of is my journey into how I started drop shipping, how I got into the e-com space, and kind of how I've, started learning everything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are probably wondering, like, what was that first product that you started with? Because so many people, me included, I tested 25 products, built 25 separate stores before I finally found a winner. So for you to come in and have your first product be a success is amazing. Hats off to you. What was that first product? Are you able to share it?
Of course. So I'm gonna shoot it over to you first and ask you what were your first products.
Hmm.
And what was I'm just super curious because this is something I've never asked you. Obviously I know kind of like what product you landed on,
Hmm.
but definitely interested because we've probably came across the same products in the beginning of what we tested. So, I kind of just dipped into my story and how I got started, how I didn't want to go down the paid route. Curious on your story, how you got started, what were the first products you were looking at? Did you go directly to AliExpress? Did you have some software that was, showing you hot products? Interested more in that side of things.
Dude, I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. So it was January 1st, 2019, I built my first store and I called it Technically Humor. Bro, I was trying to do like a merge between like a tech store and something that was funny. Cause I was like, people want to buy from someone who's funny. That's a good emotion to give on to the buyers. The first product that I tested on that store was this pea, like a pea, like a vegetable. Like you press the pea and like the little pea pops out of the casing of it.
Wait, I'm so confused. I don't understand the product.
Dude,
at
neither
all.
did I, dude.
Wait, you're gonna have to run that back because I really don't. Your description to me of this pea product, is this something for human use? Is this for a pet? Is this pet niche?
No. Look, this is it. It's this like little pea keychain, like peas in a pod. You know how you have like peas in a pod?
Yeah.
And dude, you could like squeeze the pod and a pea would like pop out of the top and then you'd let it go. And
what made you in your mind think that product was gonna work?
Dude, I had no idea what worked. I had no idea what I was doing. I had literally no clue what I was doing. I was like, you know what? Maybe it'll.
And how old were you?
I was 17. I was
17.
I was like, let's just see if I can, make something work.
How did you find out about dropshipping?
Same as you. So I was on YouTube and the good old YouTube recommended page.
Wow,
I
incredible.
was scrolling through and you know who hit me? It was Hayden Bowles.
Dude, yeah, he's the
Hayden
OG, right?
Bowles.
He's the OG, man.
Yeah.
So it's nothing you searched online. You weren't like how to make extra money. You saw it on a recommended, you clicked. It was probably a video of like how I made $100,000 in 7 days or
Yeah, how I
something.
made 10K in 24 hours.
Exactly. So yeah, you were fascinated by that video, or like were you like, I just want to give it a shot? What made you kind of take that leap? Because I think that's hard for a lot of people, is taking that leap to say, oh, I'm actually going to go through with it. Because a lot of people have ideas. A lot of people like to talk and say, oh, I would love to start a brand, or I would love to make some extra income, or, I really want to start this thing, but I don't know how to get started. And my best piece of advice for everyone is just take that leap and you'll figure it out along the way. Right. So I'm curious, for you, like, what was that journey like? Did you just take that leap? Did anything spark in your mind? Like, what made you click that video? And then after that video, did you initially get started, or how was the flow of that?
Yeah, so what made me take that leap? I just wanted to go try something out. I was like, all right, what is this magical internet money? People are printing money, selling things from China,
Yeah.
building a website, and they never have the product and they just ship it over and collect the money in between. This whole concept to me was so foreign. I just had to do more research onto it. So I started watching more videos. I was watching like Hayden Bowles videos, Gabriel St. Germain,
Ooh, the back cracker. He
The-
was making millions.
the posture
man.
corrector, all the
Posture
OGs.
corrector.
And yeah, I just started doing more and more research and I was like, I want to try this out myself. So I just decided like, I want to try it out myself.
Yeah.
There was no elaborate, like nothing really pushed me like crazy. I just thought, if this guy can do it, he sleeps, he eats, he breathes. Then why
Yeah.
can't I do it as well?
Exactly.
Because Hayden at the time was like 18, 19, same age as me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, he's driving an M4 living in California.
Absolutely crazy.
Like, I want to do the same. So I just jumped right into it.
How many videos did you watch before you jumped into it? Was it after a couple videos? Did you see, like on my end, I consumed probably 3-4 weeks of videos before I was like, all right, I got to take the leap. Is it something that you were like, all right, I just want to start it right off the bat, or?
Really
did that
good
go?
question. No, so I consumed a lot of content and it could be to a fault as well because you never want to consume too much content and then never actually take action,
Of course.
right? So I consumed a lot of content, and that's why I'm so knowledgeable today because I've consumed all that content, but I never really was spending money testing products, never really spending money on ads, like never really taking the action. I was just consuming. Now that I've realized that it's much better to just take action and then you'll learn as you go.
Yeah.
I definitely watched too many videos. What I would recommend, what my best piece of advice would be is get a blueprint of exactly what works. It doesn't matter, if it's this guy's blueprint, the next guy's blueprint, whoever's blueprint it is, like stick to that and don't be trying to mix the two and then just go.
Yeah.
Just go. And then you're going to learn on the way.
Yeah. I think that's a great piece of advice. And I definitely resonate with that because in the beginning, I was watching so many different YouTube creators and everyone had a different strategy, right?
Mhm.
So you get lost in everybody's different way of doing things, right? So I definitely agree that it's best advice to, follow one person and kind of go with that strategy, test it. If it doesn't work, then pick it back up somewhere else and follow someone else's strategy. But again, I loved consuming knowledge just because I always want to be learning. Right? I always want to be figuring out what's the best sort of method for drop shipping. What's the best way to find suppliers? How do you price your items? All these things that I didn't know in the beginning, I consumed by watching these people's content.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And okay, so I kind of want to dive into your experience with starting your first brand, or
Mm.
sorry, your first drop shipping brand, right? So you kind of have laid out your first product that you came across. What was your first winner?
Mhm.
How did you find it? And how did you know that was a winner?
Well, I actually had a couple winners that I didn't know were winners at the time. And later in life, I actually met people who had ran up those winners same exact time as me and were living like a crazy separate life. It's just an insane story.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story. So it was right when COVID hit. There was this product. It was called the Sling Puck. It was a table like this,
Yeah.
and you had a rubber here and a rubber here, and in the middle there's a wall and a hole in the middle, and you have to shoot your pucks to the other side. You both start with 5 pucks, and whoever has no pucks on their side wins. So it was blowing up on TikTok. Like TikTok was super hot at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell this product. So I started selling it on Facebook. It was doing good. I was at like a 4 ROAS. Like,
You were doing paid ads?
yeah, I was doing paid ads with that. I wasn't doing
Who
organic.
made your content?
Uh, man, you know what we do, So yeah, I ripped the
Yeah,
content
of course.
from something that was already existing on the internet, which I don't recommend. It's not a
It
good
wasn't
business practice.
watermarked? Or you
No, it
found
wasn't watermarked.
okay,
No,
because people do that nowadays. They watermark their videos just so people don't copy paste it.
yeah, it wasn't watermarked. So I ripped the piece of content from the internet, and then I started running it as an ad on Facebook, and I was getting like a 4 to 6 ROAS, and it was so profitable. I was like, let's
That's
go.
incredible.
I was like, let's go. 4 to 6 ROAS on cold, like it's doing really good. And then I got my first customer support email.
Whew.
I got my first customer support email. It was a picture from this lady who had ordered my product, and she took a picture with the product and put her hand next to it, and the board was basically the size of her hand. And the board that I was, selling on my website was much bigger, like 12 inches long. The board was probably, the board online was 20 inches. The board that I was selling was probably half that, like
This
10
is
inches.
like China size,
China
basically.
size,
Yeah.
miniature size. And she put up one of the pucks and she put a penny next to it.
Yeah.
And she said, look, this is not what I ordered. And right when I saw that, I shut down the store.
How many did you sell before you got that first customer support email?
I think I sold probably like a couple hundred of them, a couple hundred
Okay.
units.
So it was definitely verified as a winner,
Yeah.
but it was just that first customer support email scared you, or for anybody would turn you away from that product because the product wasn't as advertised or listed.
Right.
Well, it was just a very smaller version of it.
Right. And it was a bad supplier. Like there were suppliers selling the proper version, but my
Of
supplier was
course.
not good. And I was such a beginner in the industry that I didn't know, exactly what to do in that situation, which is why it would be great to have a mentor. Everybody needs to have a mentor. So I shut down that product. A year later, so a couple months after I shut down that product, I went to go do door-to-door sales at Vivint. A year later, I come back from Vivint. We're going on our team trip to the Bahamas. I'm in the Bahamas at the casino, and I just went to go talk to this girl. Like, she was a cute girl. I wanted to say what's up. She's playing slots, whatever. So I said, hey, what's up? She's like, I have a boyfriend. I was like, cool. What does he do?
Yeah.
I was like, cool. What does he do? She's like, oh, he does this thing where he sells products online. I was like, wait, drop shipping? She's like, yeah, he does that. I was like, what product
Love
does
to
he
hear
sell?
it.
I was like, what product does he sell?
Yeah.
Doing my
You
market
think
research.
she knows?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she literally did know. She was like, "Oh, he sells this board game where you flick it over to the other side."
You're like, no.
I said, "No, where is he right now?" I said, "Where
Yeah.
is he right now? I want to go talk to him."
That was the winner.
That was a winner. So he pointed him out over there. I went over and talked to him, and I was like, "Yo, what's up, John? Your girlfriend told me you were selling this product." I was like, "Dude, how'd that go for you?" He told me, he was like, "Yeah, I ran up to like 400K in like a couple months."
Absolutely crazy. This
Great
is
margins.
2019 too, right?
This is 2020.
Okay, so so COVID years, right?
Yeah, this is COVID years. I think it was January 2021. I think that was when we did the trip, January 2021.
But you were drop shipping January 2020.
I was drop shipping January 2020, yes.
Okay, this product.
This product, yeah.
Okay.
And then the next year, January 2021, I saw that guy, I went up and talked to him, and he said, yeah. His name is Frenchie. He's on Instagram. I follow him. We're still connected.
Love it.
And I asked him, I was like, yo, look, what product were you selling? He said, the Sling Puck. I said, no way, dude. You know, that inspires me so much. I was selling that exact product, but I shut it down because my supplier was sending out a miniature version. It was like, hey man, you should have kept selling it.
Gets the best of
You
us,
know,
man.
should have kept selling it.
Um,
He was a nice guy, by the way. He offered to give me his email list so I can make lookalikes and then go
wow.
sell
A
the
full
product with the
email
lookalikes.
list.
Yeah, the full out email list. If you guys don't know, you can import an email list into an ad platform, then create lookalike audiences based on those emails. So you get to start with a pretty good audience when you're targeting people.
Yeah.
And I
Awesome.
remember, I went on Google and just typed in Sling Puck. And
Yeah.
the first thing up there was John's website. It was the first thing.
I was
thought that
running
was the coolest thing back then.
Yeah, I was running Google Ads with it at the time too. I was doing it
Really?
all, dude.
Wow.
Because like I told you, like I consumed so much information about drop shipping. I was very knowledgeable, you know, I guess not knowledgeable enough to go get another supplier, but I knew how to run ads well. So I had the TikTok ads running. No, not TikTok ads. I had the Facebook ads running and then the Google ads running for the brand search
Wow.
campaign.
So 17 or 18 at this time.
I believe I was 19 at this time.
Okay, 19. So
Yeah.
what gave you the confidence though to spend all this money on advertising? Because that's been the biggest hurdle for me as of late, up until my new brand, was spending money on advertising. I could never get myself to do it, and I was always scared to media buy. It's taken me 3 years to start media buying. So I'm curious for you, what gave you that level of confidence to start media buying, knowing in the back of your head, I could be losing money here?
Well, number one, I didn't know that any other ways existed. That was number one. I didn't know that any other ways existed. Number two, I dropped out of college for this, so I considered it as paying my tuition. You know, I was gonna pay to learn somewhere, so I might as well pay to learn my own business. So every time I was spending money on ads, I was paying my tuition. So I was gonna do it. You know, I wanted to succeed. I knew I had to spend money on succeeding, whether it was courses, ads, mentorships. You know, I was trying to get all the knowledge so then I could become, you know, one of the wealthy people that I was seeing on the internet.
Of course.
You know?
Okay, so diving back into your first quote unquote winner. So after you shut that store down, where did you go? Because you were left with nothing, right? You shut the store
Yeah.
down. So did you go back trying to find more products? Were you back on YouTube finding, trying to find another winner? What went on from there?
Dude, after that, I actually stopped drop shipping for a little bit. I ran out of money.
Wow.
I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I ran out of money. So after that, my friend called me up on the phone. He said, "Hey, look, John, I'm going to do door-to-door sales in Colorado. Do you want to come do it with me?" I was like, "Sure." But when do we leave though? He said, "Oh, we leave in 3 days." I packed up my truck, drove all the way to Colorado, and then did door-to-door sales for 4 months. Now, every day when I was doing door-to-door sales, I had a goal. My goal was to sell enough and make enough money so I could buy inventory and go sell that Sling Puck product. That was my
Wow.
goal the entire time, so I could buy inventory of that product and then go sell it the right way, because I didn't wanna be providing customers with a poor experience, you know, selling them a cheap product. So I thought, you know, what's a better way to do it? Get the product in America, ship it to them with 5-day shipping time, and actually send them the proper version of the product. So every day when I was knocking doors, you know, 100 doors a day, my goal, I would write it on the back of the sheet, get enough inventory to get enough money to buy inventory for Sling Puck.
Wow. So you were still very focused on this product even after you shut down the store because you had some success with it, right? After running ads.
Mhm.
So after your time with door-to-door sales, is that what you did?
No, no. After my time with door-to-door sales, I made a lot of money, so I didn't really jump right back into drop shipping. I made good money, so I didn't really jump right back into drop shipping. I actually had a pretty hard time after door-to-door sales. I had a pretty rough spot in my life after then, so I wasn't really doing like much entrepreneurship. I was in a really, really tough spot after that. So I didn't go back into it. But then, you know, door-to-door ended in, let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Ended in September. I stayed at my aunt's house in Pennsylvania all the month of October. And then November, I turned 20.
20.
And in January, that's when we went on a team vacation. And that's when I met the dude who was doing Sling Puck.
Got it.
And that kind of like really like reignited me.
Wow.
I was like, wow, this guy like
That
took
random connection,
the
right?
randomness.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So that kind of ignited you and sparked you again to say, I need to try this again,
Mhm.
right? He probably dished out his story like, I've made a couple $100,000. Was that what kind of was like, was that click for you? And that was, I need to go back into this, or
Yeah, I went on my computer that night and started building the store.
for the same product?
The same product, yeah.
And did you find a legit supplier or
It was dead. The product was dead.
product was dead?
It was saturated. Didn't work anymore.
Wow. Okay, so now we're in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, man, I didn't even know you back then. I was hustling on my side of the world, and you were over doing door-to-door sales. Just
Mm-hmm.
fascinating. And
Yeah. During the pandemic, by the way, it was the pandemic. During the
oh
pandemic,
my
I knocked
gosh,
doors.
man.
Dude, I would.
Pandemic was so brutal for me. I was drop shipping during the pandemic.
Oh,
It
wow.
was absolutely brutal. So,
Or you mean no shipping?
no shipping. All right, so I'll elaborate.
Right.
This was absolutely brutal. So, okay, so I probably this is taking a way step back. Okay, so I started drop shipping February 2019.
Mhm.
I remember the first day. I remember the first week. My first week drop shipping has still been the biggest dopamine rush I've ever gotten, and I haven't beaten that yet. So the first week of drop shipping with no ad spend, I made over $1,000.
Wow. How'd you
And
do it?
so going back to how I was selling on Instagram, so I was reaching out to these women that were in the fitness space, taking them through the sales cycle, having them become an ambassador, having them promote the brand. But it was one-off sales, right? Going to each person, getting them interested, and taking them through the sales cycle and having them become an ambassador. So, and I was still not doing paid media. I refused to do paid media because I didn't have the level of confidence that I was going to succeed, right? And I was scared to lose money. So all this money that I was making was profit, right? I was just obviously buying on AliExpress, the leggings, and then everything else was pocketed. So I was at like 70, 80% margins in the beginning with no paid ads, no overhead, $30 Shopify cost, and that was it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, kind of going into um, COVID. Wow, what a time. Okay, so started February 2019, made my first $1,000 within a week. I was still working corporate at this time. So I was going in, clocking my 9 to 5 at lunch, commenting on people's Instagram, right? Take an hour of lunch, comment on people's Instagram, respond to the people's DMs that DM me the night before and sell, right? When I got home from work, sell until night.
Wow.
And I would literally just comment on every single girl's Instagram picture that was in the fitness space. So the way I was doing that is you go find different hashtags. You find like girls who lift, women who lift. You find all the big pages, Gymshark, Outfleet, Buff Bunny, some of the well-known like D2C fitness brands in the space. And you go to their tag pictures, right? Once you go to their tag pictures, you can scroll like what pops up first is the most recent. So that's been the most recent picture that someone's posted that's tagged the brand, right? So I'd find someone and this person posted 10 minutes ago, right? They're most likely online. They're most likely like checking their likes or something.
Yep.
So I would comment and I would say, we'd love to work with you. Something as simple as that. And the way it flowed from there is they would like the comment, right? Because people are going to engage with it, right? If you see a brand that's commenting on your picture, most people are going to engage. They're going to respond and say, "Oh, thank you so much," or going to like it. Now, not everybody did, right? Some people didn't interact with it, but the people that did, that was the first lead, right? That was basically lead gen for me for free, absolutely free, no paid at all, just costing my time, right? So once they liked the comment that I would dish out to them, I would get a notification, right? It would say, at Samantha 2017 liked your comment, right? So
Mhm.
then I would go to her profile
It's
and
go
follow
time.
her.
It's
Right.
go
I would
time.
follow her. And after I followed her, I would message her. Right. So one, she's getting the notification of me following her.
Mhm.
Second, she's getting the notification of me sending her a DM.
Mhm.
Right. When you get that from anybody, you're most likely just going to open up your Instagram and check it out.
Mhm.
Right. So I had this long copy paste message saying, "Hey, we're Flaunt Fits. This is our brand. This is our mission. We're a new brand. We're looking for women to join our community. We're all about empowering women to wear our activewear, to join our community, all this kind of empowerment thing, right? And that's the community I did want to focus on, right? Because I believe there was a gap in the market for that, right? Because these other big brands weren't doing that. After I send them that long copy paste message, the probably 90% of the time the response would be positive, right? It'd be, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much, like really appreciate you reaching out." These were people that didn't have 100K followers. It was people with 60 followers, with 100 followers that wasn't getting attention from these bigger brands that I was giving them.
Mm.
And these women wanted to feel recognized, right? They want to feel recognized. They want to feel empowered. They want to feel like they're a part of something. And that really triggered for me, right? That just clicked for me that these women want to be part of something bigger than just, I'm going to go buy the brand. That's the end of the life cycle. Never hear from them again. Right. So after I'd send that long message, usually would get some sort of response that was, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And then I would respond. I didn't have a bot doing these messages back and forth. I added a very humanized approach, right? And they were talking to a real person, right? So I think adding that humanized approach really validated these people, right? It wasn't some bot that was saying, we will respond to your message in 24 hours. Not anything like that. It was something that it was a real conversation. And I think a lot of women were looking for that. And again, it goes to show they were looking for something bigger than just a brand, right? Something that was more meaningful. So after they would say that, I would start my cycle, right? I would say, we'd love for you to join our ambassador program. You would look absolutely amazing in our activewear. Can you hop on our site and add what you want to your cart? I always followed every message with a question. So after that, I would say, how does that sound? Right? Because I always wanted to trigger back a response from that person. I always wanted them feeling engaged with the conversation. And I never wanted it to leave it open ended where they could go off and do something else. And what's fascinating is people, when they're online, they're not usually, or like on Instagram per se, they're not going on there to shop, right? They're going on there for entertainment, right? And they usually have something else going on in their life, whether they're taking care of their kids or they're getting home from school, they're doing their homework or whatever it may be, right? So grabbing someone's attention, I knew I had to keep their focus on making that sale right then and there before they were going off to go back to their daily life, right? So the only way I knew to do that was to follow things with a question to keep them engaged with the conversation with the brand, right? So after saying, join our program, pick things you want on the site, add it to your cart. Then they would go online, add things to their cart and send me a screenshot. Cause guess what? That's what I asked for. I was like, there was no methodology behind that. There was no reason that they needed to add it to their cart. I could have given them the code and they could have gone on with their day. But guess what? They would have never purchased.
Mm-hmm.
If you just send them a code, so let's run it back and pull out another scenario, right? So say they respond to your long message and you say, would love for you to join our network. Here's 20% off. Use the code. They're not going to go use that code.
Right.
They're going to go back to whatever they were doing in their daily life. Right. So where I came into play with my methodology,
Methodology.
um, and my psychology was I needed to keep them engaged. Right. So then I got them to add it to their cart. Then I would send them the discount code. And there's a lot of other conversation going on between this, right? Because it's not always going to be as simple as that, where they're adding it to their cart, they're sending you the screenshot, and then you send the discount code and they buy, right? There's that very humanized approach where you have to just cater to their responses. And if they say, oh my goodness, I love all these colors, I don't know what would look best on me, you have to respond as a human to that. You can't add a robotic response,
Impossible.
right? You have to say, well, I think, you would look really good in red or really good in black, or we'd recommend sizing up or sizing down. You have to answer to their needs and just, again, keep them engaged the whole time, right? So between all of that, them adding it to their cart, there could be a lot of other responses going on between there. But after they would add it to the cart, then I would say, all right, use the code, whatever, flaunt20, and then please send me your order number, right? Because again, if you don't follow it with a question, they're just gonna go off and do their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're gonna say, thanks for the discount. They're probably not gonna respond, right? If you don't follow it up with a question. But what I would say is like use the code and then please send me your order number. Again, no reasoning for them to send me the order number. But I did it because I wanted to keep them engaged and take them through that whole cycle from hopping on the site, picking out what set they want, picking out what color they want, picking out what size they want, adding it to their cart, going to checkout, using the code, and then sending the order number. That completes the full sales cycle,
Mm-hmm.
right? So after my final response was, use the code, please send me your order number, and then we could get you set up as an ambassador, right? So the trigger for them to get set up as an ambassador was by purchasing, right? So after they purchased, then I would get them in the network, join the community, and then I was using Oberlo, fulfilling the orders. They were shipping directly from China. It's probably 7 to 15 days, but that was the method of how I was leveraging social and non-paid media and my time to make drop shipping work for me.
A few things there really stuck out to me. One of the things that stuck out to me is you said these brands were not treating people with less than a certain amount of followers like humans, and they were not reaching out to them. So you really found a gap in the market there, which made this possible. How many messages were you sending per day? How many?
Literally from when I got home from work till I went to bed, that's all I did. I was absolutely obsessed with it because I knew it worked and it was all profit for me.
Mhm.
Had never seen this type of money before, right? And I was just like, I found something that worked. So why not double down on that? Why not try to run with it? And it's still very true to this day. A lot of these bigger brands aren't giving notice to these smaller influencers or just everyday consumers that are posting, right? So it's something that we still utilize with our brand today, not necessarily going and commenting and messaging and taking them through the sales cycle, but just interacting with everyday customers, right? Because it's still very important for community building. But yes, back then when I first started 2019 was leveraging that by finding the individuals that weren't getting noticed from those bigger brands. And then I would, approach them, have them go through my funnel, get them to convert, and then join my network.
For the people watching, do you think that that strategy would still work today?
It does still work.
It
Mhm.
does still work.
A
Wow.
100% still works. I don't currently do it,
Mhm.
but I know that anybody can go out there right now, find a product, create a brand, pay $30 to get Shopify Basic or whatever it
Mhm.
is, build your store and set up a site, set up your socials and convert people. But I do think it has to be the right product
Or the right community
or
of
the right
people.
community. And I think the fitness community is something that's there's a lot of people on Instagram that are part of this fitness community. A lot of people are posting when they're working out, right? Or their activewear of the day or whatever it may be, right? I don't with other products, I don't think it could work. Like with your first drop shipping
No.
product, I don't think it could work
You
at
know what it
all.
would be amazing with the LGBTQ community?
Of course. You could do POD, print on demand
Mhm.
with that. I think that would
Oh,
absolutely
that crush.
crush.
Whoever's watching this podcast right now, if you're young and you're a hustler, go ahead and do that, and you're gonna absolutely crush.
You will absolutely crush it. And okay, this is diving into a different segment. I'm
Mhm.
very interested to hear
Wait,
your
before you go, I do have a question because
shoot
this is
it.
like I'm sure there's viewers out there that are pretty interested. At one point in your journey, did you realize, hey, like I can quit my corporate job? I'm going head first.
Wow, that's such a good question. Okay, so going back, so yes, February 2019 is when I took the leap of faith, started drop shipping. During my corporate career, I was not very satisfied with what I was doing, with how the corporate industry made me feel. I think there was a lot of mental struggles in the corporate industry, especially with maybe the company I was a part of. Um, and I knew I wanted to quit, but I wasn't at that point when I first started to quit, right? I needed to wait it out to where I could self-sustain um, through drop shipping, right? And I didn't know when that was going to be. So I still had in my mind when I first started drop shipping that I did want to quit, but it wasn't till October 2019 till I, put in my 2 weeks, officially left my job, and I didn't go back to the corporate world. I made drop shipping work. And I knew that when I was first, like back in 2019, I was only spending a small amount of my time every day, communicating with people, taking people through the funnel, getting people a part of the community. I was like, if I could leverage my full day doing that, I'll absolutely crush it and actually outpace what I was making at my corporate job. So left in October 2019, had no plan to go back to the corporate world, and I made it work. I started doing it full time. I was probably working 12, 15-hour days, and it was morning till night commenting, literally finding people in the fitness community and commenting and taking them through that cycle. And it worked,
Wow.
right? It really did work. Um,
By the way, Jack, you could scale that system up so easily with a similar system that we have at Talk Daddy.
So I think that's a really interesting thing to mention, and I would love for you to go more in depth about how Talk Daddy can be resourceful in that way. And how could you help someone like me back then really scale that to something greater?
Yeah, well, essentially, you would just scale up your outbound team. So you were doing all the outbound, you were sending the messages manually. But what you could do is you could hire some commission only outbound reps and train them, show them all of the conversation examples, show them the entire strategy, and hire them as commission only outbound reps. So they're sending all the messages, on behalf of you. They're looking at all of the examples that you've given to them, and they're able to do the exact same formula, the exact same strategy for you, and it costs you nothing because it's all performance based. If they don't
Yeah,
work, they don't get paid. But if they do work, you both get paid.
yeah.
So you could very, very
You could
easily
do
scale up that
so
system.
well. You could do that to this day. I
Hmm.
mean, thinking about maybe where I was with that brand Solo and the numbers we reached, right? Or the numbers I reached. There was no team. It
Hmm.
was just me, myself, and I. I couldn't imagine finding people that could assist with that, creating different profiles, right? And carrying forward the same messaging, right? There's millions and millions of people in the fitness community that would love to be a part of something like that, but I could only go so far with the time I had in my day. So I could imagine leveraging a team in that space at zero cost, right? It's fully commission based
Hmm.
and really running that up. I think there's still huge potential to do that as of today.
Yeah, we could talk after. Well, oh my gosh, Elliot's amazing when it comes to building outbound sales teams. We'll talk about after the podcast. If you want to do the outbound for Kiala Nutrition, shout out to Kiala
Shout out to
Nutrition.
Kiala.
Yeah, we could definitely do that
Yeah.
for no cost. You know what I mean, boys? So,
Yeah. Kiela's in a very different spot, and this is, of course, jumping ahead, but we're obviously leveraging paid social now. We're not doing the commenting, all that stuff, but that's how we started still, because
hmm
that's what I knew worked. Right. And I was like, I want to start a private label brand. I want to do things in house. Tired of the shipping. We'll handle all the customer service. Not going to take 20 days to get to the customer. Good quality stuff. So that's where I kind of switch focus.
let me
But
ask you this: how much were you able to scale up to with just the messaging?
oh, the interesting questions. So before I exited the brand, so started February 2019, exited to October 2021.
Yeah,
2021.
because
Okay,
the
so
mastermind event was January
yeah.
2022.
So this is the how things worked in terms of timeline. So February 2019 to October 2019 is when I was doing it kind of part time, right?
Hmm.
Quit my full time job. October 2019 through August 2020 was still drop shipping,
Hmm.
right? So that was a long time. That's over a year. That's probably a year and a half. October 2019 to August 2020 was full drop shipping, right? And I saved up so much capital, right? I saved up a lot of money, but that's when I rebranded and did things in house.
Hmm.
So I found a supplier, ordered bulk inventory, rebranded to a different name, and it absolutely crushed. Since it was in house, I was doing all the pick, pack, label, getting 3 to 5 day shipping times, and it was just so much better. But drop shipping started my journey and provided me with a lot of resources and obviously capital to get started with the private label because all that money with the bulk inventory that I paid ahead of time was from the capital I built up. Um, so man, okay, so I think I was doing at the end of it, I was doing like 30K a month, just me.
Wow, all organic, just
All
messaging,
organic, me messaging every day,
and the
30,
margins on that got to be super high because there's no
70,
ad
eighty
spend.
percent So yeah, I got to 30K a month just solo.
Hmm.
And like my goal per day was to make a grand a day.
This is one person,
This is one person. So yeah, so I was still working long hours, right?
right?
And I needed to go through that just because I needed to put myself through the hard work and the like nitty gritty detail stuff.
Hmm.
And I think it taught me a lot of things. But up to this point, even before I exited, I still never touched pay media. And I think it's just such a different approach from the way people do it nowadays. I don't think there's a one better way to do it. The only reason I did it the way I did it, I guess, is because I didn't want to take the risk of losing $100 a day, $200 a day. I wasn't ready to take that risk to lose that money. I mean, that was a lot to me. That was a lot to me when I was working a corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think I just tried to find a way that was really different from the way the dropshipping community did things.
And it served you very well. That's an amazing story.
Served me very well, taught me a lot of things. Dropshipping has taught me more than I could ever imagine. Just learning so much through free videos on YouTube, actually going through building a website, building all the socials, messaging with people, the psychology aspect of it, pricing different things, discounting, all the funnels. There's just so much to learn by actually going through the experience. So kind of hearing on the experience aspect of things, curious to pick up where we left off with your journey.
There we go. You always end it with a question. Same track.
Always.
Man, where do we leave off with my journey?
So you were so we're now at 2020 for you, right? This is when you went out of the country.
January 2021.
You met 2021.
Yeah,
So you
January
went on
2021.
this trip,
Mhm.
right? You were going through some rough times, right? Not really in the spirit or mind to carry forward with your uh entrepreneurial journey.
Mhm.
But something sparked, right? So I think that's where we left off.
Yeah, I had a spark there when I saw the guy that literally made 300, 400K selling the same exact product that I was selling. And it reignited the fire within me to start doing dropshipping again. So I think I did try to do a couple products here and there, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, tried influencer monetization, tried, making money off the YouTube Shorts fund, Snapchat Spotlight fund. And then yeah, I was just running out of money, like testing all this different stuff. I came down to my last $2,000 liquid, and I was like, all right, I just got
You had to throw the liquid in there.
last $2,000
Oh
liquid,
man.
and yeah, I just wanted to do it the right way. I've tried so many times doing drop shipping where it was, products from China, photoshopping images, just taking shortcuts. So I wanted to try and do it the right way. So I spent, I think, $1,300 on inventory, and then I had 2,000 left over after that. After I spent the money on inventory,
And what product was this on?
I'm not gonna expose the product because I actually have an NDA to the investor that I sold the brand to,
Got it.
so I can't talk about the product. But
Let's back up though. So this was a new product that you found online.
yep,
Okay.
I
And
was
you had some level of confidence that's
very confident in it.
you were like, I
I
know this
know
can
this is gonna
crush.
sell. Yeah,
Got
I
it.
know this is
So
gonna
you
crush.
kind of took that leap. You just went ahead, private labeled it, got inventory, and wanted to start selling from in-house.
Yeah, I wanted to start
Got it.
in-house, wanted to do it
Okay.
the right way. So I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw an ad. It had like 22 million views.
Wow.
So I knew, I was like, okay, they're really spending a lot of money behind this creative. Like something's definitely working for them. So I decided, the marketing angle of the product was amazing. It was the right time of the year to be selling it. I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead, private label it, test things out one last time the legit way. And so I private labeled it, got some renders made on Fiverr, and I was actually taking job interviews at the time. So I was at a job interview for a digital marketing company, and I was showing the CEO of the company. I was like, "Hey, look at my little website. Like, this is like my dream. This is what I want to do." And I remember he said to me, he was like, "That's really good. Like, why are you here?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of blew me away.
Uh,
And I was like, "Thanks, but yeah, I'm kind of running out of money, so I do need a job. So yeah,
mhm.
please hire me." He wanted to hire me, but I ended up saying no. I don't want to work there. I want to try this drop shipping thing.
Yep.
So got the product. I used my last $2,000 to buy this MacBook sitting right here
Wow.
because my MacBook, my current MacBook at the time, was not strong enough to edit the videos in Premiere Pro.
So you were doing all the editing yourself.
Yeah, so I recorded videos of me using the product. After the sample came, I recorded videos of me using the product, and then I put all the videos into Premiere Pro and chopped it up and then did a voiceover. I took a viral script from a TikTok video that had gotten like 50 million views, and I used that same script for that
Yeah.
product, but I used it for my product. And when I posted that video, it blew up like
First
crazy.
video.
Yeah, first video on the account, it
Wow.
blew up like crazy. Within 22 days, we did $100,000 in revenue, and it was all organic, so the margins were like 70% margins,
Insane.
and all from one TikTok video.
Was that the only TikTok you posted, or did you post consistently after that?
Yeah, I posted consistently after that, And I started getting really, really good at TikTok. So I ended up hiring people to start posting for me and build like a couple creators that were just posting frequently on the account for me. And
Commission based or
they were
flat
retainer
fee?
based, yeah,
Retainer.
flat fee based,
Got it.
somewhere like 1,000 or 1,500 a month or whatever it was. But
Yeah,
I was making a killing on the
of
product
course.
because it was just working so well organically.
100K, 22 days, mainly from this one sort of viral video,
Yeah,
right?
I posted a couple of them. So one of them ended up getting like 30 million views, 20 million views organically, and then another 10 on paid because I
Wow.
did run it up on paid as well. And then another one got like 5 million, and then the whole page is probably on like, I don't know, maybe 80 million views on the whole page.
That's
Not
insane.
sure, never really
And
checked.
and this is all in 22 days, right? This is
Um,
all a quick turnaround.
no, no,
Or
no,
no, that's
no.
lifetime views.
Yeah, lifetime views.
Got it.
And in 22 days, we probably did like 10 million views, maybe.
Got it. Did you have enough inventory to
No,
sustain this?
no,
So did you
no.
go back to your supplier and buy
No,
more?
I went back to drop shipping.
Oh,
I
John.
dude,
John, you went back
I had
in
no
the dark
choice. I
hole.
had no
You did
choice.
have a choice.
No, check this out. Check this out. I had 300 units, and so
In stock or?
in stock. I got 300 units to my house. That's all I private labeled.
Oh,
So
okay.
I shipped out all 300 units, and then the rest of them, I just shipped out the drop shipping product without my logo on it. Same exact product, just no logo on it. Look, I was upset about it. I didn't want to have to do it either, but
Yeah.
what was I gonna do? Go refund like $100,000 worth of orders, or just
No.
send them the exact same product without a logo?
What were your shipping times like?
About like 10 to 14 days, pretty
Not
standard from
terrible.
China.
Yeah, 10 to
People say
14.
7 to 15. It's 10.
It's
10
never
to
7.
It's
If
never
people say
7.
7 to 15 or 7 to 10, it's never 7.
No, never 7.
Never 7. And the supplier will tell you that too, that it's 7 to
Mhm.
15. It's
But
always 15.
But yeah, after we caught up on that initial batch of orders, then everything after that was private labeled inventory. But yeah, I didn't expect it to blow up so crazy. I literally had no inventory.
Yeah.
So we drop shipped that out, and then we caught up to the supply, and then everything after that was all private labeled inventory with my logo on it.
And how long were you running this store for?
I ran the store for 14 months,
So a little over a year.
a little over a year.
Okay, so a mix of organic and paid.
Yeah, it was a mix of organic and paid. Majority was organic, and then just started getting a little bit of paid in there as well.
So that kind of puts us to now where we're at today, right? So I know you, John, have a lot of different ventures you're
Yeah.
kind of tapping into, and you've personally kind of disclosed those to me, and they're all super fascinating,
Mhm.
right? Because they're not necessarily in the ecom D2C dropshipping space by any means,
Right.
right? So you're kind of taking this different angle, leveraging what you've done these past couple years to go into what you're doing today, right?
Mhm.
And you're only 21 years old. Is
Yes,
that correct?
that's correct.
That's super fascinating, right?
Mhm.
So still super young. You have still a lot of life left. And you've already gained so much knowledge between when you first started at 17 and now. Can't imagine where you're going to be in the next, 3, 4, 5 years. So it will be super interesting to kind of tap back in, look back at this podcast and just, bring up some memories. But
Mhm.
anyways, let's kind of dive into where you're at today, some of the ventures you're going into, and really what you're excited about.
Yeah, sure. So when I was running up that brand on TikTok, I realized that, you could really sell out your entire inventory just from one TikTok video.
Yeah.
And I got really good at making TikToks and good at managing creators. And I realized, I should take everything that I learned doing TikTok organic for my own brand and create an agency where we do it for other brands. So I've dipped my feet into the agency world, and now I have an agency. It's called Talk Daddy, and that's exactly what we do. We do done for you TikTok organic for 7 and 8 figure D2C brands.
Awesome. And what do your current packages look like? Do you have different, standard, premium, enterprise packages? Is it kind of just on a, brand by brand basis? What does that look like right now?
Yeah, it's on a bit of like a brand by brand basis. We're in a bit of a discovery phase. Someone might need something more intricate. Someone might need something more simple. So it really does depend on the client. But on average, we're charging $6K a month for. On average, our clients pay $6K a month. So let's say you came to me, you're like, John, I want to get started with organic. It would be $5K a month. And what we would do is we would get a creator. The creator would post 2 times a day to your TikTok, 60 posts a month on TikTok. And then we would take those TikTok videos and repost them to Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Pinterest Idea Pins to maximize the amount of reach that each TikTok video gets. So instead of just having 60 posts, you're actually getting 300. Instead of just going viral on TikTok, you're going on YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, Pinterest, and you really get your money's worth. So we're able to see like 6 cent CPMs by doing this. If you know,
Insane.
that's insane.
6 cent CPMs.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. But it makes sense, right? Because instead of just taking the impressions you're getting from that one TikTok, you're chopping it up to fit into shorts. You're chopping it up to fit into reels, to fit into stories, and leveraging that one piece of content to get 4x, 5x the impressions.
Yeah. And you can blow your business up by doing it organically, then retargeting website visitors, add to carts, initiate checkouts. Also on TikTok, if you're running TikTok ads, you need to have TikTok organic behind that as well.
Something we currently are struggling on, but we will get there.
Yeah, because, well, you want to run Spark ads on TikTok because, number one, they're more profitable than just regular video ads. So you want to run Spark, and then you want to have an active page on TikTok. If your page isn't active and you're not posting on TikTok, like you're not relating to your customers whatsoever. They're going to look, they're going to say, this place is kind of dead. We don't want to buy from here. Let's go buy from someone else who's actually active. So you need to have organic. And if you're running ads on Instagram, you better be posting on Instagram frequently.
Of course.
If you're running ads on Pinterest, you better be posting on Pinterest frequently.
Yeah.
And so that's why we actually do the omni-channel organic approach. So we actually post on all platforms, not just one.
Got it. So do you think this sort of method helps the brand figure out where their audience is, right? Because I think for some brands, you may start on one platform, but these brands that have maybe been in business for a longer time, they don't have the social experience to get onto these other platforms. They might just be doing Google ads or something. They're not doing Instagram ads, TikTok ads, Pinterest ads. So do you think by leveraging these or that one piece of media and posting on all platforms really helps identify where the audience is for that brand? Or do you think it's better just for them to be everywhere, right? So everybody's seeing the brand.
Well, you should be everywhere, and some places will perform better than other places. But yeah, you'll be able to tell pretty quickly if a certain platform is working better than another. So this one brand that we're running, it's called Puzzle Packed on TikTok. You can search it up. It crushes on YouTube Shorts. Like it absolutely
Wow.
crushes on YouTube Shorts. Within the last 2 weeks, we grew the Puzzle Packed account from 0 subscribers to 80,000 subscribers. I'm sorry, not 2 weeks. Correction, less than 2 months.
Got it.
Less than 2 months.
Okay,
about
so
7 weeks.
A couple questions. What is Puzzle Packs?
It's a puzzle brand, and
Just puzzle, like a 100-piece puzzle? That's it?
no, it's like this thing that you slide it, and you have to get this red square to the bottom. And it's
Is
kind
it
of
for
like,
people like
It's
the
like a-
fidget spinner thing or no?
No, it's not a fidget spinner.
Well,
thing.
not a fidget spinner, but it lets people ease their mind. That's why people do the fidget spinner or ADHD or something.
It's supposed to keep your brain sharp. And I'm sure you've probably played that one game on the phone where you have to slide the bricks and the blocks. It's kind of like that, but in real life.
Got it.
Okay, so it has very high watch time because people are always, they want to see if you can actually
Get to the end.
Get to the end.
Yeah,
Also,
makes
there's a
sense.
timer on screen, behind the puzzle. So there's a timer. You're trying to see how fast you can do it. So the videos get very high watch time, and it just absolutely crushes on YouTube Shorts. It does good on TikTok. We got 11 million views in the last 60 days on TikTok for Puzzle Packed, but on YouTube Shorts, 50 million views in the last 60 days on YouTube Shorts.
How do shorts work? I'm not familiar with how YouTube Shorts work and how, to me, that just doesn't make logical sense, right? So I'm hoping you can explain further in depth. How is there an audience where you can just watch shorts? Is it sort of like TikTok and IG Reels where you can just go on the platform and just scroll through shorts?
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Got it.
It's exactly the
Okay,
same.
so something I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, so what we've seen is TikTok, they took the market share away from everybody. They took the market share away from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest. They absolutely took everyone, even took it away from Google. TikTok surpassed Google as the #1 most visited web domain in 2021. And they're on track to absolutely blow everyone else out of the water. So TikTok took all the market share. Now, these social media platforms had to respond by doing something. So we saw everyone making copies of TikTok. We have Instagram with Instagram Reels, Facebook with Facebook Reels, YouTube with YouTube Shorts, and then Pinterest with Pinterest Idea Pins, and then Snapchat with Snapchat Spotlight. And the list goes on and on and on. And so these, IG Reels works the same as TikTok. YouTube Shorts works the same as TikTok. So you can take that content over from TikTok and then repost it omni-channel onto all these platforms where there's less competition and there's still a huge viewership there, and get a ton of views over there as well.
Yeah. How is there a lot of viewership? Because to me, that does, why would someone pick to scroll on YouTube Shorts versus TikTok?
If someone's scrolling on YouTube Shorts, they're probably, on YouTube, maybe watching a longer form YouTube video, and they just subconsciously like clicked over to Shorts, and now they're caught in the short cycle.
Got it.
And
if you have the same algorithm as TikTok or something formatted like that, they're going to suck you in for at least an hour or two.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a quick 5-minute thing.
It's
vicious.
vicious.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You go on YouTube, you have all the videos lined up. So you're scrolling down, you see all the thumbnails, you see all the captions, and you have the power of choice. You kind of get to choose which one you want to watch, how long it is. The thing about Shorts is that you don't know what's next, and it'll even like half swipe for you half the time. You're on there, you're swiping, you don't know what's next, so you're just getting caught up in the train, and
Yeah.
it's
That's
a
so
vicious
fascinating.
cycle.
Something
It's
that we
slot
need
machine. You gotta
we
pull
need to
that slot
tap into
machine.
that
Yeah, gotta tap into that.
because there's probably not a lot of competition, right? Because I feel like not a lot of people may know about it in terms of brands utilizing it.
Oh, when it comes to like utilizing YouTube Shorts, Pinterest Idea Pins, all that stuff.
Well, utilizing YouTube Shorts from a brand perspective versus
Yeah.
a creator perspective. So I'm sure a lot of creators are on there. I know YouTube's doing some incentive, right?
Mhm.
That's giving some of.
Oh, by the way, from doing 0 to 50 million views on Puzzle Pact in 7 weeks, we got that YouTube Shorts fund, $1,500 just for doing that. Literally, we did no extra work. We just had our VAs repost the content from TikTok over to YouTube Shorts, just an extra $1,500, easy.
Wow. So YouTube Shorts is the place to be.
YouTube Shorts crushes. And now what we have at the agency is we have a team of virtual assistants that are automatically repurposing the content omni-channel. And then, for example, on YouTube, we'll go in and we'll comment the link in the comment section, and then we'll pin that comment. So if anyone goes in the comments, the link is the first thing they see, it's pinned, so then you can drive traffic to the website.
That was my next question is how is this trackable, right? Because, with TikTok, right, you can go to the page, you can click the link in bio, or if it's a Spark, there's that transparent shop now, learn more, whatever it may be. So you have to post the link in the comment section, and that's how people can access the website.
Yes, and if you want to go one step further and create UTM parameters so you can track each individual link, you can create one for Shorts, create one for Pinterest, create one for all the platforms. Then you can actually track exactly where the sale is coming from.
Right, especially if you're doing omni-channel and you don't know where your traffic is coming from. It's definitely best practice to do that so you can figure out, is it from TikTok? Is it from, Pinterest? Is it from YouTube where the viewer was last, right?
Definitely. Something that's also super cool with TikTok is TikTok shopping. So now TikTok released a feature. It's called the TikTok shopping integration. And every time you post a video on TikTok, you can select whatever product you're talking about. So a button appears, right below the caption, and you click on it, and it takes you straight to the product page on an organic post. So they don't have to go to your bio. They don't have to do anything.
It's not an ad. This is full organic, right? You
organic.
post an organic piece of content, you tag the product. It's easily accessible. Click it, go to the PDP page.
Yeah, because you know how on Instagram you could just tag your product?
Yeah.
Okay, same thing now on TikTok.
Same thing with TikTok.
You just tag your product, and then boom, straight to the page.
Wow.
Imagine you had a video that got like 30 million views with that tag.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't imagine. TikTok's doing a lot of things right now to help brands, I feel like. Push more brands out there because obviously they want a lot of brands spending money on their platform. Yes, their ad platform maybe not as experienced as like a Facebook, Instagram, but I think they're kind of leaning into that and they want to focus on brands.
Yeah. It's awesome. They even came out with the creator marketplace. No one did that before.
Well, Facebook kind of did that.
Did they?
Yeah.
With what?
Well, they had that marketplace where you could like find different UGC creators, right?
I've never seen that on Facebook before. That's new information to me. What I know is on TikTok is the TikTok creator marketplace, and you can sign up for there. And then you can go in and you can search creators. You can filter by location, the amount of followers, the amount of views that they're currently getting. And then you can go and just send them an invitation to some sort of advertising campaign. And boom, you could just get a ton of creators.
Do you think that's the best way to find creators, or do you think scrolling organically is a better way?
No, I wouldn't recommend scrolling organically to
Why?
find creators because that's just gonna take you forever.
Yes, but when you're going to the marketplace, those people are looking for a paycheck, right? So when you have someone promoting your brand, you send it to them, they'll dish out the video. It looks almost staged, right? It depends what you're using it for. Are you using it for a spark? Are you using it for organic? Because I would probably have a different take on that. So we scroll organically and we send the product to people. After they get the product, we hop on a call. If they love the brand, they love the product, obviously we'll initiate working together. If they don't love the product, then that's fine. We can move on to the next. But, our number one thing is we definitely want to ensure that people love the brand and love the product because their organic posts are going to look more genuine and natural to the platform versus someone that's being paid a check to promote the brand. And when we spark those, they crush, right? Because it's just so, it just meshes with the platform so well, right? Because it looks like a TikTok and not an ad. So curious your experience with any experience with the marketplace? That's where you guys find creators for your agency?
No, we find them in a lot of places. We'll find them on Twitter. We'll find them on LinkedIn. There's a lot of places we can find creators. We haven't really dove into the creator marketplace so much,
But it's a place to go.
but it's a place
Yeah.
you can go, and it's very easy to go on there and find people. We just have better luck elsewhere for now.
Yeah. I think scrolling organically is another untapped potential because especially when you scroll organically and you start to interact with like whatever industry you're in. So obviously we're in the fitness industry with Kiala. Like when we start either liking, commenting, engaging with those posts, it's going to show us all individuals that are in that sort of niche, right? So we're easily able to find more creators versus if you would just think you're on the For You page and you're scrolling, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I think there's an option on the creator marketplace to go in and filter by that niche, like fitness and apparel or
Yeah.
something like that. And you could just pull up, everyone who's already signed up to the creator. But these are probably not your target audience because they're looking for a check.
They're looking for a check, right? And are they highly priced? I think I've been on the creator marketplace. I haven't done an in-depth analysis of it or tested it out. Is it people wanting, thousands of dollars for a post?
You'll find those people, but you'll
Yeah.
also find the people who are actually level-headed and are not charging an exuberant amount for a post.
Yeah. So I think something that's super interesting we're doing, and I think it's another hack that brands could definitely do. So, whoever's listening to this, if you're running TikTok ads, definitely attempt this method. So the way we've gone through a lot of trial and error through paying creators. We started out flat fee. I feel like that's the biggest, what a lot of brands do is a flat fee per post, right? Some brands do $100, maybe do $1,000, whatever it is. Then some do a mix of flat fee and commission, right? Our unique compensation structure is actually we will spark their organic post and tag it with a commission link, and then they get paid commission on that. So it's worked super well for us. And I think it's a very fascinating way to incentivize creators to post more often and post content that's actually going to resonate with the platform. Versus if you're paying a creator upfront and you pay her her or him $1,000, they're going to film it and that's the end of it. At least that's the experience we had because we tested it in the beginning, right? We worked with creators that were charging $1,000, $6,000, whatever it may be, right? It's just an ad, right? So when we structure things this way with our compensation structure, we find that the videos are a lot more genuine. They fit well with the platform better.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting way to go about it.
It's a very unique way to go about it, but it works, at least for us. It probably, depends what industry you're in, what creators you're looking for, if you're looking for an organic creator, if you're looking directly paid, but just something that we found to work super well. I don't want to drop all of my secret sauce, but we've gone through a lot of trial and error, right, to find out what works. And I think it takes that for any brand, right? You have to go through trial and error. You're not going to figure it out overnight, right? You have to always be testing. You have to always be finding out different methods and find what, where your audience is and what people are resonating with, right? You can't run a static post on TikTok as an ad. They don't convert, right? And people have definitely tried that. This is not Facebook, right? You have to find that content that's organic to the platform, right? Because when people are scrolling, it's all about thumb stop, right? You gotta get them to stop scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is coming into the psychological aspect of it, of your hook and all that good stuff. But again, it's so different than Facebook. And I think you always have to be testing different, unique ways and ideas to obtain that customer and get them in your funnel.
Yeah, in your particular circumstance, you have a lot of creators creating content for you, so you get to test a ton of different creatives. A lot of brands are not getting fresh creatives in every day, and so
Yeah.
that's where we come in as an organic agency, and we're pumping out 2 new videos a day that they can test on ads. So they're getting to test, 60 videos a month on ads, and obviously they're going to perform pretty
Yeah.
well.
Are these posts going organic and Spark?
Both. It's up to the brand. If they want to run Spark to it, amazing. If they don't, also cool.
Just organic.
Yeah, you can run organic as well. But what I always recommend is that you run organic, you retarget 90% video viewers, and then you retarget, obviously, the rest of the funnel, website visitors, initiate checkouts, add the carts, etc.
Got it. Have you ever ran Spark from the creators page? Or is that not something? Do they not post on their page? They just film the video, send it. That's the end.
No, so they actually run a page for the business. So we create a fresh account for the business. You know how Andrew Tate kind of does like Andrew Tate, fan pages and stuff like that. So we'll make another page for the business, a completely fresh account. So they'll get a fresh TikTok and the rest of the whole. They'll get a fresh account on all of them. So for example, it could be like John Kiala Nutrition or
Yeah.
Elliot Kiala Nutrition. And we'll have that creator posting to that page and growing that page.
Will you run Spark from their page though, or will you run Spark from your page? Like for that piece of content that they post, they're posting on their new page, right? Yep. They're also sending you the content so you post on the brand's page, correct or no?
If the brand wants to post it on their page, they can, yeah.
Got it.
But
when you run that Spark, right?
It would be from the account that we create for them. Or if the brand wants to take that piece of content, repost it on their official page, and then run Spark to that, all power to them.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I think at least what's working for us, it seems like it's working well for you guys too, is running Spark from the creators page because it looks the most organic, right? It's not coming from a branded page.
That's key right there. I remember when I was testing some things out, making things look as organic as possible and blending in as much as possible works wonders. I remember I was testing out some ads on TikTok, and instead of putting like a logo for the profile photo, I just put a picture of an attractive woman.
Yeah.
And
something as simple as that can deteriorate people's opinion on, oh, this is just an ad, right?
The better you can do to blend in, the better. And so that's why organic works so well, because when they see a video, they're watching it fully 100%. They don't know that it's an ad, so you get to sell them subconsciously. And that's why organic works so well. They have no idea that they're being sold to until it's the end of the video. They're thinking, wow, I actually really want to buy that product. Where can I buy it? Let me check the comment section. And coincidentally, we pinned a comment saying, here, go buy it in this link.
And again, it's taking them through that cycle and the user doesn't know it because it's so funny on the branded side of things because someone's like, where did you get that product? And then you tag it, right? It's like, oh, I got it from this brand. And then that gets pinned, right? Okay, John. Well, going off topic a little bit, I have an interesting question for you. All right. So as someone that's never used an agency before, right? Obviously, this is something you guys specialize in. And there's so many agencies out there, right? You get on Twitter, you go on LinkedIn, wherever it may be, you find a lot of people running different types of agencies. What do you look for in an agency and how do you find a good agency for what the brand needs?
Interesting. In regards to TikTok organic?
Well, you guys specialize in that. You guys also specialize in repurposing the content, right? So I guess, yes, in a more specific manner, what do you look for in a good agency that's doing organic or running ad content? Like, at least from my perspective, there's just so many agencies out there, right? It's like everybody and their brother, everybody and their sister starting an agency, right? So it's hard from the brand perspective to find an agency that's actually going to be beneficial to the brand without just paying endless retainers that's going to hurt the bottom line. That's my perspective, right? So from a brand perspective, what do you look for in a good agency? And we can make it more specific to your agency. So say my brand, for instance, like we're looking for someone to run TikTok organic for us, or we're looking for someone to repurpose content. How would you say maybe Talk Daddy stands out from the other agencies, or what differentiates your agency from the others out there? Because there are a lot of players in the space.
Yeah, that's a great question. So you want to look and find an agency that has actually been able to do it for themselves,
Got
right?
it.
If you can't do it for yourself, what makes you think that you're going to be able to do it at an agency for someone else? So at Talk Daddy, I actually did this for myself. I did this for my own
Yeah.
brand. And you want to look for someone that knows the business like the back of their hand. Like I've been doing D2C for coming on 4 years. I know the business model like the back of my hand. I'm talking about UTM parameters. People don't even
Don't even know that
People don't even know
terminology. Not at all.
that this exists.
Yeah.
So you want to find someone that's done it for themselves and someone that can actually get results. If we're talking about repurposing, a lot of these agencies, they're not even repurposing content. They're just posting to TikTok and that's it. They're just leaving it there. What a shame.
So they're charging $5,000 a month to post an organic, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah. And it's hard too, because some of these brands that are not familiar with social might think that's a good deal, right? Because they don't
Yep.
have anybody else to do this.
And
right?
by the way, on top of the organic side, I've ran TikTok ads. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on TikTok ads.
Yeah.
And I can help when it comes to actually running the paid ads and choosing the right Spark ads to run and how to set up your campaigns. And overall, if someone needs help, maybe if they're not like an 8-figure brand, maybe not 7, maybe they're 6 and they have their first winning product, I can help them set up and give them the right direction of setting up all of their paid ad campaigns and just give them direction on the business because I've done the business. I know it like the back of my hand. So I would say if you're looking at an agency, make sure that they can do what they promise. Make sure that they've been able to do what they promise multiple times over and over again, like I have.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that also I like to think we're really good at, John excels in this, is communications. If you're going to have an agency, you want to be able to know, hey, what are they doing? What's happening? So we have a whole analytics website where they could actually check their views, how it's working for them, the growth they're doing. And John, and our fulfiller, Michael, they hop on meetings, all the time, be able to not only comfort them, because obviously, they're putting money into something. It's a big investment for the company, but also just to show them, hey, like they're killing it. This is the growth. And if there's anything we can do that the consumer would want.
Yeah, really great point, Elliot. We do provide everyone with their own analytics suite. So we pull in the data from TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest. We pull in all the data into one dashboard where they can see the views that they're getting, the subscribers that they're getting, the followers, the profile visits, everything. You can see it all. And then also we have a very, very important hygiene standard at the agency. Every Monday and Tuesday, we reach out, updating the client on exactly how we're performing and what we're doing coming up. And then every Friday, we send them a loom going over last week's performance, how we performed last week, and then what we plan on doing the next week to improve. And we're very, very, we're very mission focused in a sense that we need to be sending out those messages. Also, if someone messages us, it's another hygiene standard that we need to reply to messages within 2 hours.
Wow. That's high standard.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
So you get a really good service when you work with someone. You could go ahead and work with another agency where the service isn't as good.
But
Why? Why?
So
one video is going to make you the entire cost of the service back. So just work with the best.
So John, you just dropped a lot of good information there, unpacked a lot of good points. From the brand perspective, at least what I can take away is find an agency where the founder or the owner, whoever it may be that's running the agency, has actually been in the space and can prove what they've done, right? So not just an agency that started up overnight and says, hey, I'm going to run your TikTok ads. And basically their agency is a trial for them. So they can just run their ads, right? The second thing is communication, right? Having a very in-depth level of communication with the brand owner and giving them full insight into how each platform is performing and then responding accordingly if they have any questions.
Right.
So I think that's amazing. I think those are two great things to look for when you do outsource or when you do kind of bring on an agency. But I'm curious on the dashboard. I think that's something super interesting and valuable to any brand. I think it's something that a lot of agency owners probably don't provide to brands. Like you said, there's definitely agencies out there that just post a video and that's the end of it. Now, there are a lot of other agencies that do this, right? Again, it's just finding the best agency that accommodates to what the brand wants and what they're looking for and how much they're willing to spend. But out of my own curiosity, in terms of the dashboard, is this something that's refreshed daily, weekly, monthly? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the way that it works is the dashboard connects to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and every platform except for TikTok. TikTok hasn't released the API yet. So what we have to do, all of the other platforms, aside from TikTok, they refresh automatically daily. However, TikTok, there's no API integration yet. So we actually have to go in manually and go pull the data from TikTok. We go settings, business suite, analytics, export to a CSV, and then upload that CSV to the dashboard. So every Friday we go ahead and we refresh the analytics in there. And yeah, most people just wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely outpacing other agencies out there without a doubt. In terms of this dashboard, is it something custom built? Is it something you guys did on your end, or you kind of just, you know?
Yeah, good. No, good question. So we white labeled another dashboard, and now it's basically our version of it. So you can go on analytics.talkdaddy.io, and then you can go ahead. If you're a client, you can log in there. Once you're logged in, you'll have access to the dashboard where you can view all of your metrics.
Awesome. Very interesting. Definitely
Yeah.
something every brand owner could utilize in terms of, making sure their metrics are on track, finding out where your audience is, where you getting the most attention, and then, hey, maybe doubling down on that platform, right?
Yeah.
Um,
For the cost, it's such a no-brainer to do. If you're profiting, if you're profiting at all from your business, for the cost, it's such a no-brainer to do.
yeah, without a doubt. Okay, switching topics once again. From the agency perspective this time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got into the agency world, but when you start, you don't have any clients, right?
Right.
So, what is the best way to find your first client when you're starting an agency?
Wow. I can't talk about what I recommend you do. I can only talk about what I did.
Of course.
And so what I did is I started going on Twitter and I started making threads on Twitter about how I was able to scale my own brand on TikTok using TikTok organic. And so what that did for me is that generated me a ton of inbound leads. Immediately generated me a lot of inbound leads. I would say the best way to start getting clients as an agency owner is to, number one, generate inbound leads. You could do this on, Twitter, posting Twitter threads. You could do this on YouTube, posting content on YouTube. And even better, one thing that everyone should do is by posting content on TikTok. The same exact strategy that I'm doing at my agency is what you should do to market your own agency.
You know
I'm,
what's crazy? I'm sorry to interrupt. I
yeah.
have to spit this. Realtors are getting on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Realtors. That's insane, right? Who would have ever thought that realtors showing homes are going on? It just makes so much sense though,
Yeah.
right? So it's the same thing as an agency, right? Obviously, the people that are gonna, brand owners that are gonna interact with whatever D2C or people that are fulfilling products selling online, whatever it may be, their algorithm is already catered to that sort of terminology, people in that space. So your organic video is going to pop up on the For You page when they're scrolling, right? So, I think those are all great ways to find your first client. Again, all organic and free ways
Mm-hmm.
to find your first client,
Mhm.
not necessarily hopping right into paid, posting threads, posting on shorts, TikTok, all that good stuff, and just providing value. I think that's the best way, at least from what you said, is to find your first client, right? Is to provide value from your experience in the space. And, without a doubt, or hopefully, with enough, impressions, right? People are going to kind of latch on. When you provide enough value in any space, it's bound to happen.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I agree.
All right, John, Elliot, how do we want to wrap this up? What do we want to leave the viewers with? Let's drop our last
Yeah,
pieces
time to
of
wrap it up like
knowledge.
safe sex.
What do you want to leave the viewers with? Give your best piece of advice, whether you're starting a brand, whether you're starting an agency.
Mhm. Yeah, best
Shoot
piece
it.
of advice is when you do something, go all in at it. There's a saying when the Vikings used to go to a new land to conquer it, as soon as they landed, they would go ahead and burn their boats because they were either going to win or they were going to die. There was no going back. So whenever you go into a new venture or you start something up, you want to burn your boats. There should be no plan B. You should be winning at this or you should be dying. And it wasn't until I did that I actually found success. So I'd say my best piece of advice, treat life like the Vikings. Go all in.
100%. Yeah. And I made decisions like that kind of put me in that spot. Dropping out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
joining door to door. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have any other option. It's time just send it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, there's no better way to go all in. And you think you go to bed every night, damn, I want to quit. Oh, but I can't. There's no other way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go all in, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I like that
Yeah,
feeling as well.
100%.
I love that feeling.
Because it's an all or nothing mentality.
Mhm.
And what's the other option, right? You can't just fail, right? Or if you do fail, you find a way to pick it back up, or you test a different angle, or that's why. I mean, this is going to go back to the dropshipping thing, but how I succeeded with the first product, right? Because I failed many times with that product, but testing different angles, right? So I think the mentality of going all in and just giving it your 100% effort, you're going to figure out a way to make it work. I also say that with bootstrapping a company. We've bootstrapped Kiala Nutrition, started with a couple $1,000s, didn't raise any outside VC funding. And you're going to fail a lot in the beginning. It's a lot of trial and error, right? But testing different methods and testing different angles, because you do have a greater vision for the company and there's no other option than to succeed, you're going to find ways to make it work.
100%. 100%. That's probably the best way to do it. So look, I think that's about all the time we got left. Jack, it was an absolute pleasure, man.
John, we absolutely chopped it up on this podcast today. Thank you for inviting me. Great discussion with you and Elliot, dropping some absolute knowledge here. Excited for the viewers to listen to this one.
My pleasure, dude. Come on again soon. Thanks so much. And that's it. Talk Daddy episode 2 in the books.
Wrapping it up like safe sex, baby.
Let's go.